For me, you know, just stepping into Shangri-La, like that's luxury. Or kunyari, sa Rockwell, I just go to Rockwell for the aircon. What the heck?
Hey guys, what's up? It's Ellen. In case you missed it, I'm actually the owner of this channel. December last year, a tweet by a Filipino questioning if Uniqlo was high-end trended because his Japanese friend said that it's actually a very accessible brand in Japan. Just a few weeks later, in January of this year, a Filipina based in Singapore trended for saying that her first luxury purchase was a bag from Charles & Keith. Because of this, I actually decided to ask Filipinos their definition of luxury. What clothing or fashion brands do you usually buy?
I'm more of a Uniqlo Zara guy.
Zara.
Or
yeah. More of
H&M.
because of the fit, I think.
Yeah.
And my height.
Zara.
Uniqlo, H&M.
Same, Uniqlo and H&M.
Mauna ka na.
In general, surplus. Alam mo yun yung store na yan.
Ako naman, bumibili ako sa H&M at Uniqlo. Uniqlo kasi I dance and that's for comfortability.
I usually buy from Zara and Uniqlo. For formal wear, SM.
Me too, I just buy from Uniqlo.
I usually buy Uniqlo or H&M.
Same din, Uniqlo, Pull&Bear, mga ganong brands.
Kung kunwari, urgently kailangan ng polo, ganito ganyan, mahal talaga yung damit na yun. Hindi mo naman masasabi na makakalabas ka kaagad ng pera para bumili ng mga tig 2K na polo or 5K na barong or tux. So yun, either ukay, pero for like here, para sa school, Uniqlo.
Kung kunyari para sa akin talaga, it's small brands like H&M, Uniqlo, Guess, ganun. Normally kasi our family, especially my dad, he likes buying in department stores. Kasi pagpasok mo nandun na lahat, so hindi na mahihirapan. I think Filipinos naman, a lot of Filipinos are buying from SM department stores or other department stores.
Uniqlo.
Apart from that, I do indulge in Army Navy. Old Navy. Sorry. Uniqlo and Old Navy are my two main sources of fashion. Otherwise, it just comes from ukay.
Uniqlo. Uniqlo and some occasions a department store because they usually have the style that I'm looking for. Yeah, it's pretty much comfy stuff.
What brands do you consider as luxury brands?
The Gucci, LV.
The big brands.
The big brands. Yeah. The Bottega. Or RL. And then if it's more on clothing for men, TM Lewin, which actually Zara's considered luxury.
Yeah.
Zara's considered luxury for most Filipinos.
Yeah.
Zara's like a tipping point already.
It has to do with our economy, how it is in the Philippines right now.
Yeah,
personally speaking.
It's not like abroad where Zara's like cheap.
Yeah.
It's very expensive here.
Typical designer brands like Prada, Louis, Dior.
Same here. I think that just the brands that have a really big reputation in the luxury, like they usually cost thousands or double like the amount that you'd usually buy for like bags.
Uniqlo, mga sportswear, siguro mga Nike.
Ako Zara, Mango. Hanggang tingin na lang ako so. Yun na yun.
Gucci, Versace, Louis Vuitton, those high-end brands.
Balenciaga, Michael Kors. I don't remember a lot because I don't normally buy luxury.
Top of mind na luxury, syempre mga Louis Vuitton,
Say Michael Kors.
Gucci.
Yeah, same
Yeah.
thoughts.
Parang kasi pag yung ganong kamahal na, yun na yung luxurious.
I don't know, something that's usually obnoxiously expensive outside of its normal price range. Yeah, there's like this area in Shangri-La na puno-puno ng ganun. That's what I have in my head.
Well, based on the pricing, syempre we'll go with the stores in Greenbelt. Louis Vuitton, Gucci.
Yung kanta ni Megan. I could wear my Gucci. Lahat nun.
Supreme. Based on the price, yes.
Versace,
but very overrated. Yeah, Versace.
Balenciaga.
Yeah, Louis
Or
Vuitton.
like those high ones. I don't know. I consider H&M.
H&M.
Or those like hightail Johnny Walker type of thing. The ones with suits. Onisimos, right?
Onisimos, yeah.
Onisimos.
That's the one I was looking for. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, brain sync.
Would you consider brands such as Uniqlo and Charles & Keith as luxury or high-end?
It might be luxury for some, but for others it might not be.
It depends on the person who's buying and it depends on their living conditions. And I guess like that's how it is because we live in a country where
Everything's so
inflated,
inflatedly priced.
Yeah.
So
Inflation prices right now. Hey, what's new?
For me, I buy Uniqlo a lot. So for Uniqlo, not really. But for Charles & Keith, I think I'd consider it luxury actually. Because it wouldn't be that pricey, but the majority of the people in the Philippines would not be able to afford it. For me, that's my criteria for luxury brands.
Honestly, I think that anything can be luxury to you because not everyone has the privilege to buy anything they want. They can't just buy H&M or Uniqlo if they just wanted to.
Feeling ko nasa high-end sila. Hindi sila luxury pero high-end lang sila kasi yung prices na mataas. For me, Di ko naman nabibili yung mga damit sa Uniqlo kasi medyo masyadong mahal para sa akin. Kaya for me, high-end.
Siguro naman depende sa tao to, pero siguro luxury kasi, yun nga, hindi naman lahat nakakabili. Ako, minsan lang din. Sinabi ko, brands ko, Uniqlo, H&M. Pero minsan galing lang sa probinsya, kanya.
Okay na yun.
I wouldn't say luxury for Uniqlo, but I think Charles & Keith would fit there. Just because I don't normally see it being worn. And I don't know what your perspective is on Uniqlo being a luxury brand.
I would consider both as luxury brands because I think as an econ major, not everyone can afford it like on a regular basis. I think the income level for everyone cannot match buying Uniqlo every time they can, like every sweldo or whenever. I think the context of luxury in the Philippines is really based on the income level and how it is perceived by people.
May pagkamahalan kasi talaga yung Uniqlo. Actually kasi ako bumibili ako pag sale lang. So yung regular prices niya, medyo mahal siya for like the regular Filipino. Also Charles & Keith, some may not consider it as luxury, pero luxury siya siguro on a different end lang, especially for like everyday Filipinos. Kasi yung nakita ko dun sa Charles & Keith issue, ang dami nagalit sa kanya, pero kasi she's 17, so of course that would be a luxury for her kasi she's a student, or actually what anyone can consider luxury to them is a luxury.
We can't really necessarily consider them as fast fashion since not everyone can afford it in this third world country especially.
Medyo dependent din sa socioeconomic status ng tao yung luxury. Kasi for us, baka okay lang na nakakabili tayo ng Uniqlo ngayon, H&M, pero sa ibang tao, luxury brand sa kanila yon. Kasi hindi naman lahat pare-pareho ng socioeconomic status.
Kasi cheapest price in Uniqlo is $5.90.
Yeah.
So for other people, minsan lang sila makakabili na, $5.90 na shirt, tas super plain pa, di ba? For them, it's luxury na. Like yung nag-trend nga na sa Charles & Keith, hindi naman siya lagi everyday nakakabili ng Charles & Keith I don't know, cost like 5K. So for them, it's already a luxury brand because of their socioeconomic status.
The reason why I go to Uniqlo most of the time because it's affordable. At least for our household income, it's actually enough for us to go there every 2 or 3 months. But in relation to the economic class in the Philippines, it's pretty much affordable din naman for mostly everyone since other clothing brands actually have that kind of price. Kunyari, yung isang shirt sa Uniqlo is like what? $450, $750. In other brands, $450 is kind of like the sando pala. Uniqlo probably has both the style and the affordability from my perspective of it.
I don't know. For me, luxury, it's more on the concept of status because I think the price doesn't really matter because I think in, not really in the high class areas of the Philippines, there is this stigma around shoes, right? And, there is a certain luxury when it comes to shoes and Nike is like one of those high tail things. I don't really consider it to be luxury because I feel like it's something that you can just pluck. But it is luxury in the way that people admire it and they like revere it. Therefore, when it comes to Uniqlo, as you said, affordable and accessible, well, I'm also in the same income, I think, level as her. I do believe that it is a luxury to some degree because a lot of people do use it and like a lot of styles do come out from it. I think it's more common, not gonna lie, to see, but it has good quality, so that's my luxury.
Would you agree with the statement saying that luxury is relative?
That really depends on the context, but then there should be like a standard at least for luxury. If you make luxury relative, then there's no such thing as luxury anymore. That's why it's called luxury because it's different from the rest. Now if it's available to everyone, then it's not considered as luxurious anymore as it is. That's why LV, Gucci are very quote-unquote luxurious because not everyone can afford them. They're meant to be that. It's how they're marketed, it's how their branding is. You have to like have this certain aura and certain way of going around and certain choice and certain movement that makes something luxurious.
How I'd say it in other words, it's both objective and relative. Yeah, that's how I see it.
It really depends on what you can afford and what you can't afford because of course people that are in the lower class can't afford Uniqlo for example, but for people on the higher class they consider Gucci like not even that expensive, like they can buy it all the time. They would buy like all the new collections and all the new bags and I think that's very relative depending where you stand in the social status.
Yes, I agree.
Itutuloy ko lang din sa sinabi ko kanina, depende sa tao. Para sa akin, ang luxury. Kasi I know what it's like to be the other side technically. Depende ka sa tao kasi naranasan ko rin mabuhay ng paya.
I think I would agree in a sense that not everyone gets the same privileges in terms of being able to purchase things even as much. I think that in the Philippines, even just getting clothes is already considered something that you have to save up for. Like personally as a student, I can't really afford buying clothes every week. or eating in restaurants every week as well. I have to keep in mind my savings. As someone who studies in a really expensive university, I think that I've already privileged enough. And so when it comes to people who are not as privileged, I think that being able to eat in Jollibee or purchase Uniqlo can be seen as a luxury. And I think that's the irony there. You have like a certain level of things that you consider as expensive. Like earlier I said that Uniqlo is not necessarily like a high-end or a luxury brand for me just because I can see everyone around me wear it. But it might not be the same for someone.
I agree. I think luxury is relative based on income levels. For example, basically I'm from a lower class family. So what we consider luxury are the things we don't usually buy. And that's when it becomes relative. You can't buy it every day. It's considered as a luxury. Like I said, kanina, perception. If your worldview growing up is that you can't buy this most of the time, then as a kid, you would think na, wow, that's so rare. That's luxury for me.
Parang subjective rin siya sa kung anong kaya mo.
The term luxury kasi is broadly used in different areas as well. So I do think na everyone can have different perspectives of what luxury is.
When we think of Louis Vuitton, like no matter what's your social, like economic status, it's still a luxury brand. But when you think of, I'm sorry for the term because I cannot find any better term. Like common people or poor people, parang for them eating at McDo or Jollibee is already luxury. But being it as relative, is it relative?
Ako kasi, relative siya if the person wants to label something as luxury. But of course, merong objective yung mga fashion industry, kung ano yung luxury para sa kanila. Kasi di ba we have this social constructs from different industries. For example, sa mga restaurants, meron tayong mga star. Ito, these are how like these industries in that sector, sa food sector, sabihin nun, maganda quality ng food, maganda service. So, luxury siya kasi mahal, kasi maganda yung makukuha mo in return.
It's an objective luxury.
Yeah.
Like in fashion, we have the Vogue.
Yeah, kasi may mga standardized naman tayong luxury labels. But like viewing it in a more broader concept or broader perspective, for people, there might be things na luxury sa kanila in terms. It's the same way as how we view privilege. Diba? Kasi isipin natin, everyone has the right to education. But sometimes it becomes a privilege because some people cannot have their education.
Or some people cannot afford having their education in some like expensive schools, like the Big Four. Others can just afford studying in a public like college or university.
Hang on.
I mean, like, I kind of like segued onto that answer with my previous one, where it is kind of dependent on, I think, the system and like the class where we are. You get to eat at Chowking, you know. Reality-wise, there are not a lot of Filipinos due to poverty that get to have the opportunity to have Chowking. So it is technically a luxury. So I would say that it is relative to some degree.
I think it also depends on the culture in which you were currently in. In some specific schools, whenever I eat, kunyari sa Chowking or sa Tokyo, they actually consider me as cheap already. So weird, yeah, what the heck. Anyway,
that's good flavor though.
I think it really just depends on what luxury means for them. For me, you know, just stepping into Shangri-La, like that's luxury. Or kunyari, sa Rockwell, I just go to Rockwell for the aircon, what the heck.
Or BGC,
yes,
like, you know, just
diba?
to feel.
Yeah, and you just end up going to McDo or something.
Or don't eat.